So today we're going to be looking at the top 7 ways to learn Polish. So before we get into the methods, I think the most important thing is to understand what your goal is. For some reason, I think a lot of people think that they have to get to a C1 level in order to really speak the language. I think that's the worst mentality to have. The most important thing is for you to be speaking. It doesn't matter how basic or dumb you sound, just try to speak as much as possible, and let's get you to that basic communication level, because once you reach that level, then it's easier to build motivation to try to learn more. I think a lot of people get stuck in the beginning because there's so much work without any real progress. So hopefully through the methods that I talk about today, you're gonna be able to take your Polish journey to the next level. So starting with number 7 are the basic grammar books. And the one that I used to start with was this one, Krok po kroku. Now I think it's a good book. It's just very dense and it's very hard to follow. The cool thing is about from the beginning, this whole entire thing is in Polish. So you're gonna have to be reading a lot of words right off the bat. But a lot of the things that they explain are also in Polish. And I don't think this is for beginner language learners. I was able to understand because I learned Spanish on my own, but if you don't know any other language and you just know English, I think these books are actually not very effective. There's a lot of concepts and ideas that don't make sense to us as English speakers, so you need somebody to teach it to you. Some people have talked about the Michael Thomas method, and I actually think it is pretty good. It's like a podcast of somebody's pre-recorded class. There's not a lot of pressure on you to answer all of the questions. They have students in there that are answering the questions and you just kind of follow along. I do think it's pretty nice just to get a feel for the language. There's not a lot of pressure for you to always have the right answer. But I think in the grand scheme of everything, it's not gonna really help you that much. I also want to briefly talk about language learning apps such as Duolingo. I don't think Duolingo is effective at all. A lot of people have used Duolingo to try to learn Spanish or any other language. I've seen the app and the app has improved a lot. It's more for entertainment and trying to get you to stay on the app rather than actually be effective in learning a language, at least through my experience. So I'm not gonna even put those on this list. All right, next up we have group lessons. And this is actually my primary recommendation for people who are starting out from zero. Learning a language from scratch can be very difficult. And if you haven't done it before, I believe the organized structure of group lessons is very helpful. The problem is that, at least for me, there's always been a point where I wanted to progress a lot faster than the class. A lot of the times when you're speaking the language, you're not speaking with another local, you're speaking with your fellow students who are just as bad at you in Polish, right? You get a lot of the basic fundamental concepts, but it's not very personalized to you. And I've met a lot of people who have been in group classes for years and they're still at like a A1 level, can't even speak. And I think it makes a lot of people feel good because they're attending a class and they're actually doing something. If you want to go deeper into the language journey, you have to use some of the other learning methods. For a lot of people who have really busy schedules, it needs something outside like this to kind of force them to learn and to practice just a little bit. I still don't think that they're the most effective. So now we get into private lessons. I think private lessons are amazing, especially for the first 6 months of your language learning journey. I took private lessons for 2 months, I believe, and I think they were really effective. My teacher was a lot more old school, but she corrected me and she gave me that hard love. I got a lot of speaking practice with her. If you guys are looking for a private teacher, I highly recommend my teacher, Martha. She's fantastic. She's worked with a lot of famous foreigners here in Poland. I really like her no BS approach to teaching. So I like private lessons because they can cater the experience a lot closer to you. But I still don't like how a lot of teachers adhere to a very strict curriculum. They try to teach Polish the right way instead of teaching you in a way that allows you to understand. Because I used to teach piano back in the day, right? I had a set curriculum if you were starting from zero, like how to teach you fingering and notes and chords and all those things. But for the most part, every student was different because you have to teach them not only where they're at their level, but also in a way that they understand. I personally have a lot more fun when I learn a language on my own versus having to take lessons. I think lessons are the most important for the beginning, and some people prefer to have lessons like over a long term, so they always have an appointment every week. But as someone who has the time and the motivation to learn themselves, I actually feel like private lessons or group lessons are effective only really in the beginning. Number 4 is playing video games. Yes, you heard that right. Or just use technology in general. Something that a lot of people recommend is changing your phone or your iPad, or what I've done is change my PlayStation to Polish. That definitely does help a lot. A lot of video games have great Polish audio and Polish subtitles. If you're just starting out, just put the Polish audio on with English subtitles so you can get a feel for the language. Once you get advanced enough, you can even put it in Polish text as well. because I've been playing games that I'm familiar with, such as The Witcher 3 or Overwatch or Marvel Rivals. It's allowed me to learn new Polish words because I already know what those things are in English. Video games are extremely popular here in Poland. A lot of these words maybe you may not use in everyday life, but I think it's still a fun way to be able to have fun with something that I would do anyways and still get a little bit of extra Polish practice. So number 3 is listening to music. A lot of people say that Polish music isn't that good, but I think people are just not paying attention. I highly recommend you guys follow my Instagram, Wesley Thomas, because I've been making a lot of music content breaking down Polish music. And I have to say that a lot of stuff, especially Polish rap, is actually quite fantastic. There's a general agreement that the older music was better, but I like newer music because a lot of it is more easy to consume, like it's actually good music. And I personally think that rap sounds very good in Polish because it's a very rhythmic and consonant heavy language. And if you listen to a lot of Polish rap songs, you can hear how to say the words in a very quick rhythm, which helps you with pronunciation as well. Some of my recommendations for Polish artists, if you like rap, Sobol is really good. His latest album is an absolute banger from cover to cover. I like Smolasty a lot. I like Mata a lot. Some of the most famous Polish artists are like Sana, Dawid Podsiało, Sylwia Gorośniak. Taco Hemingway is also pretty good. The Meskie Granie Orchestra songs are also pretty good. And then there's also some old goodies as well. You know, Lady Punk is very popular. Zbigniew Wiedeński, I forgot how to say his last name. I've reacted to all these songs on my main channel and on my Instagram as well. And now I'm just focusing on making music content just for Instagram. So follow me there if you guys want to see that. I think it's important just to find songs in Polish that you personally like instead of just the most famous Polish songs. Sex Tape by Sobol and Oki to me is one of the greatest rap songs that I've ever heard. It's a 10 out of 10. Video Sierra by Bedos 2115. Cotton Candy by Hubert, it's also really good. Kochasz by Sobol. Mama Ostrzegała by Daj to Głosnie. There's a lot of really good Polish music if you really know where to look. So I highly recommend diving into the music. Number 2 is watching TV, particularly watching cartoons. Now the reason why I recommend cartoons over just regular TV shows is because a lot of the times the audio and the subtitles don't line up. And this is for most of the TV shows, especially on Netflix. But I found that cartoons seem to get over this because a lot of the times the audio matches up to their mouth moving, so it feels a lot more natural when you're hearing it. A lot of cartoons have the same audio and subtitles. The couple of the notable shows that have this are Pokemon Indigo League. I'm watching the show Rising Impact, which is a golf anime. The Polish audio is very good and the subtitles are extremely accurate. But if you're starting out, you just want to hear the rhythm of the language, you can put some English subtitles. I highly recommend Avatar: The Last Airbender, Justice League, Ben 10 is so good. Polish dub is fantastic and it's a great show. Scooby-Doo is also really, really good. You can watch the original Batman cartoons. So there's a lot of really good options and this is just on Netflix. I know on Disney Plus they have Simpsons and they have other shows. I might make future videos about like the top shows on Netflix to learn Polish. Let me know if you guys want to see that video in the future. In the beginning, I don't recommend watching straight Polish shows because a lot of the times they have the audio and the subtitles which are completely different. But I find that the speed at which they speak is a little bit too quick for me and they use a lot of like slang and internal country jokes, whereas the cartoons are a lot easier to follow. They have very simple storylines. They enunciate and pronounce their words very slowly and in a way that's easy to understand. Adventure Time also has good Polish dub. The regular show also has good Polish dub. I recommend like watching Polish TV every day, maybe 1 to 2 hours. It's a lot easier to do that when you're watching shows that are actually entertaining. In the beginning, I would start off with just Polish audio with English subs, and then sometimes you can swap with English audio with Polish subtitles. It's just that it takes a lot of active effort, right? You can't just put it on in the background and not pay attention. You have to actively be reading the subtitles, listening to what they're saying. I'm at the level now where I'll watch a couple of episodes in Pokemon so I can read exactly what they're saying, and then I'll watch an episode of Ben 10 without any subtitles, just with Polish audio, just to see if I can follow along with the story and also train my listening. And the number 1 option is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is the most game-changing technology since the internet. It's absolutely insane. ChatGPT does have its flaws, like sometimes it will make a mistake and be extremely confident in the mistake that it makes. But I think in general, ChatGPT is amazing because it is a language model AI and they speak multiple languages. I speak English, Spanish, Mandarin, and now I'm learning Polish. Certain concepts that exist in Polish that don't exist in English but do exist in Spanish, such as reflexive words, the idea of a case, conjugating your verbs. I can just ask ChatGPT like, hey, Can you explain this idea to me, but in a Spanish context? They're very good at explaining grammar and giving you certain exercises, and you can always ask for more exercises. You can just really curate your own language learning experience. I find that a lot of Polish people, including the teachers, don't really know how to explain the cases or the ideas in a way that makes sense to a complete beginner, but I think ChatGPT is very good at meeting you where you are. I think the voice feature in Polish is still not that good. Their English is very good and the Spanish is very good. So if you want to, have some speaking practice, ChatGPT might not be the best for Polish, but if you're trying to understand, for example, like genitive form, the cases specifically, ChatGPT, I think, does the best in explaining it. You just have to learn how to ask the right questions. I also really like how you can learn things at your own pace. There's no pressure from other people to follow a certain curriculum or you have to be at this level. You can just go and learn exactly how you want. So everybody can agree that Polish is a hard language, but I think what makes it harder is that a lot of the teaching methods also suck. I've adopted the approach now just to have as much input as possible and then try to converse in the language as much as possible. I don't follow a particular textbook or particular lessons. I just kind of go based on what I'm curious in. Do things that I enjoy in Polish, so I'm constantly around the language. Always making an effort to learn new words, translate words that I don't know. Essentially learn how a child will learn. I don't really like having to be at a lesson or be somewhere at a specific time to learn my Polish. I like being able to learn at my own pace whenever I want. Don't listen to what other people are saying how they learn Polish. Just figure out what you like to do and then build your own curriculum based on how you personally like to learn things. If you guys want to reach out to me asking about what life is here in Poland, what are the process to migrate over here, if you guys need help in your language learning journey as well, feel free to set up a consultation with me here. Otherwise, I highly recommend you guys watch this video next, and I will see you on the next one.